Hi, you've tuned in to the Raging Aggron channel, and I'm your host, Djingis. So, in this video we're going to continue with the draft breakdowns, and we're going to do the Salt Lake City Buizels, that is the first team in the Akala division of Sun Conference. And the first pick in the draft for the Salt Lake City Buizels are Tampofini. Tampofini is, as you know, a very bulky water type, and those stats say the same. I mean, base 115 defense, base 130 special defense, and base 70 HP. It's really bulky, and bulky water types are always really well used and are always needed in draft league format. And to add a fairy type upon that just makes it even more broken. It's one of the best defensive Pokemon in the draft league format, in my opinion. Even if it has more weaknesses with the fairy typing, it still makes up for it with just great bulk overall. And I've seen it used pretty well, both in an offensive role as well as a defensive role. And in the offensive role, I've seen it more like Choice Specs, of course. You have Calm Mind. I've seen it Choice Scarfed actually on a Stick Web team, which could be really nice to think about. And as you can see, this is his Crystal Juicy as well. So we'll most likely see a mixed Tampofini sets. We can see one Tampofini set each week, which is really nice. It has great coverage and really powerful moves together with that base 95 special attack. Aqua Ring is actually it's pretty useful in league format overall because it just gives you more HP. And just to be able to have Taunt and a lot of other non-damaging and non-status moves are really good on a bulk Pokemon. So this is a really good pickup. I really like it. And next up we have Mega Scizor, the Mega of the team. And Mega Scizor is one of those Pokemons that is really hard to take down. To have a times 4 weakness in fire and still be able to eat almost every fire type attack and deal good damage back, that's pretty rare. And Mega Scizor is one of those Pokemon that can do that without problem. And if you look at the stats, you see base 70 HP, 140 defense, and 100 special defense. That is really good stats for a Pokemon of Scizor's usefulness, because you will get Stab, U-turn, you will have Bullet Punch that will get Technician boosted, that can take care of fairies without problem. You resist a lot of things, and it's really hard to take down. Base 150 attack with Technician is just OP. This is one of those Pokemon that you can run both defensive and offensive. I really like to use a defog set when it comes to Mega Scizor, like max special defense and defog, because that's just to ensure that you can live at least one super effective stab fire type attack and deal okay damage or get rid of your stealth rocks on your side that hinders you. So I really like this pickup. I think it works really well with Tampofini. It's a really good bulky core that gets even better with the pickup of Latias. Latias is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon competitive. I'm so sorry that I couldn't pick it up, because that would be really good. Dragon Psychic hits really hard. We are allowing Soul Dew, because it got it got nerfed in this gen. As you can see, it's just 1.2, and I believe it was 1.5 before. I'm not completely sure, because I never used it because it was banned. It was for U-Burst, but it's a really good item that you can use on Latias. It's really bulky, but you need to run a lot of defensive investments for it to be able to live a super effective dark type hit. Together with Wish Passer, you can actually run a really funky set with Assault Vest, and you can actually wreck teams with that, because you can still have max special attack and max HP, then you have your special defense and you just wish it up all the time. That's a really nice tactic that I used with Latias and ranked really well with. So I really know how to use this Pokemon, and I really hope that the coach of the Salt Lake City Buizels knows as well. Because that front core is really bulky, and to make it even better, we have Djingis here. And Djingis is a Pokemon that has rapid spin and can spin block the opposing team. It has actually 3 stabs thanks to Steel Worker, so Ghost Grass and Steel Stab, those are really good stabs in Draft League format. It's somewhat slow, so most of the time you'll see an Assault Vest variant, I assume, so you can live Ice Beams. If it was a bit faster, it would be really good. If it was like base 70 or base 75 speed, that would be really good on this Pokemon. That base 131 attack makes sure that it hits really hard as well. Life Orb set can be really useful if you have a Trick Room team, and I can actually see a Trick Room team work pretty well on this team, because Scissor is not that fast, and if you're on the negative speed nature, it will work really well on that. Tapu Fini with negative speed nature can also work pretty well. Latias is too fast for that, of course, but you can set up the Trick Room. Then you have Djingis base 40 and Heracross as the next one. But you just keep here at Djingis, because Djingis is one of those Pokemon that you have to prepare for every single game, but you don't bring it every single game, in my opinion. It has 3 stabs, as I said, which make it really viable. Anchor Shot is a great Steel type move. It has access to really good stabs as well on the Ghost and Grass side. You can run it in a number of different ways. Yeah, that's Djingis for you. And then we have Heracross. So Heracross is most likely going to run with Guts or Moxie. Moxie Scarf is, as you know, the most common set on Heracross. Only rival to that with Fire or Toxic Orb with Guts. And the reason for that is that this base 85 speed allows it to outspeed a lot of Pokemon when it's Scarfed. And if you combine that with it's not Trick Room, it's called Stick Webs, then you outspeed everything except for Swift Swimmers. And that is really good for a Pokemon for Heracross. In bug fighting, it has a lot of weaknesses and not that many resistances, but it's still kinda bulky thanks to that base 80 HP and okay defenses. But it's the base 125 attack that really makes it useful in this format, and that it has a really viable moveset as well. And to have bug fighting as stab is really good in this format, because you can get off stab Mega Horns, you can get off stab U-turn if I'm not completely wrong. Well, no, not this one, but not Heracross. I almost forgot that Heracross doesn't learn U-turn. So we also have, close combat double-edged Earthquake Facade. Guts Facade is really common, or even on the Scarfed set, because Heracross is a Pokemon that you would like to burn, or Toxic, or cripple in any other way, and that is really good to have Facade in this Pokemon then. Brick Break if you think that screens are going to be brought against you. Knockoff Low Kick are really good. Night Slash. It just has a variety of moves that it can run. You can really customize it against your opponent, and that makes it a really viable and good Pokemon to have on a team. And if we then go here to Raichu, the biggest thing about Alolan Raichu is the Search Surfer. But he doesn't have Electric Terrain Setter, or he doesn't have a Pokemon that automatically sets Electric Terrain, aka Tapu Koko. But this is still a really good Pokemon to have, because it is really fast. It's base 110, you can Scarf it and still be able to have almost a Search Surfer. It hits really hard with Stab. You can have a Life Orb. I think it's Coal Mind. Yeah, I've seen a Coal Mine Juicer not that long ago. That worked really well. So you can really run a lot of things, and that Fake Out, even if you have pretty poor attack, base 85 isn't that bad, but it's not great because you're not going to invest a lot in it. Fake Out is still a really good move to have. And Extreme Speed as well is really good as well. You have Knockoff. I mean, you can run this. What the fuck is this? Okay. I have no clue what that was, guys. I'm sorry for that. There was no advertising or anything. It just popped up on my computer. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I have no clue what that was, guys. So, as I said, Alona Raichu, great move pool. Pretty okay attacks if you Scarf it or if you Specs it. You can even run a Choice Band set. And if you can get someone to set up Electric Drain, it will really work through a team. So if you just look at these 6 Pokemon here, you can see a pretty big fire type weakness with Dhelmise, Heracross and Scizor. But since it has Latias and Tapu Fini, it's not that big of a deal really, because they eat fire types. They eat flamethrowers and hidden power fires for days, so you don't really have to worry about that. And Heracross, Dhelmise and Scizor can all eat up a fire type attack if needed, even if you shouldn't count on it to do that every single game, but it can still do it if you really want to, if you need it. We have the second part of the team, Mudsdale. So Mudsdale is a Pokemon that really needs stamina, and the only bad thing with Mudsdale really is that you need to run AV stamina or rest stamina and have something to bulk up its special defense, because that is bad. Not bad in the sense of just of the base total, but since it's weak to grass and water, that is the most common special attacking attacks in the game. I mean, with Scald, Energy Ball, you get the drill. Means that Mudsdale is really poor in this format, and since it doesn't have reliable recovery, it just have rest. And rest isn't the best move to have if you want to have a great what's it called, a great wall. But Mudsdale is still a really good Pokemon. It has a great attack stat, great HP stat. It's a bit slow, but I'm pretty sure that it can do well. It can do well, but I'm not so sure that it will work. I'm pretty sure that it won't bring it every single game, because you have better resistances on his team, better bulk on his team, as you can see here, and a lot of things that Mudsdale do, he has other Pokemon that can do and do it better. The only thing that other Pokemon can't do better than Mudsdale on his team is stab Earthquakes. Everything else his team already has, in my opinion. Then Glaceon. So I don't really know why I picked up Glaceon, because I don't see Hail as a good weather for him to bring at all, and I don't see anyone bringing Hail against him since Alola Ninetales never was drafted, if I remember correctly. Which means that Glaceon is just here at the fire of blizzards, and maybe take 1 or 2 special attacking moves with an AV set. I can see Glaceon putting work, since it's a lot of quad ice weaknesses in the league. But I still don't think that Glaceon is, how should I put it, very viable in the draft league format, because it can eat 1 or 2 super effective hits, and ice have a lot of weaknesses. So yeah, I mean, it's not that terrible when you just look at the stats, and I'm pretty sure it has a good move pool. It's an evolution, so it should have. But I think there is better ice types out there. But as a tier 5 pick, I think Glaceon is a really good pick. And to get an ice type on the team is always good. But then we have, I mean, this is just disturbing for me to think of. He already has a great defensive core with Tapofini and Latias, and also with Mega Scissor. Then add Arcanine in that mix. I mean, his team will never die. This is an extremely bulky team with great coverage options. Arcanine can be run offensively, defensively. You can run it as a mixed set. You can run it just specially offensive or physical offensive. You can run it specially defensive or physical defensive. You can run with a Morning Sun Will-O-Wisp set. You can have priority. This is, in my opinion, the best counter for Pheromosa. So, because if I'm not wrong, after Stealth Rock's extreme speed when it KOs it, if you're max attack, or if you have 252 EVs in attack. And Arcanine can eat up hits as well, so you can go for 5 Flamethrower or anything else on it, and it will, when it KO the Pheromosa. So I mean, Arcanine is a really good pickup for this team, and I think it will do really well. I really like Arcanine in competitive. Yes, Intimidate, Flash Flyer, and even Justify is really good abilities to have, because if you can predict the knockoff, you can just go with something that can't be knocked off, or that doesn't really matter, it gets knocked off, and then you have +1 attack, and you are an Arcanine. What are your opponent going to do? Because Water type, you have Wild Charge, and I'm pretty sure that you get coverage even for ground types. I might be wrong about that, but I mean, you can always run Hidden Power Grass, you can always run Close Combat, it will always hurt, you can always run Crunch. So I mean, you have a lot of opportunities with Arcanine, and to have it on this team, that's just filthy in my opinion. And then you add Drapion into the mix. So Drapion is one of those Pokemon with the ability with Battle Armor that you can't get to crit. You can also run it as a critter against your opponent with Sniper Scope Lens. And I'm pretty sure it gets Focus Energy, but I'm not completely sure. No, it doesn't. Okay. But I mean, this is still a really good Pokemon. Drapion for me is one of those Pokemon that is very underrated. And you can run this, I'm pretty sure that the most common set is an AV set, and run bulky. I've also seen Scarfed, I've seen Banded, and Drapion overall is very powerful. That Poison Dark typing makes it kinda weak, even for Poison type, for Moonblast. But since it's a Poison type, it can one-hit KO most Fairy types with the Poison Jab. And Stab, Poison Jab, and Stab Knockoff are always really good in Draft League format. So this is a great pickup, it's bulky, it fits its team really good, because it doesn't have a lot of ground weaknesses, in my opinion. I mean, it's Arcanine, Drapion, and you can hardly say that Mega Scissor is a ground weakness, since it's so bulky. And if you just look here, go away. Alona Raichu is maybe one for Earthquake, but I mean, the rest isn't really. In Tapofini, Latias, yeah, they just eat up everything that has ground in front of it. And then you have Braviary Tad in the mix. So, Choice Scarfed Braviary is one of the scariest Pokemon you can find, especially since it has Sheer Force. Sheer Force Choice Banded Braviary is even scarier. And if you have Sticker Webs, this Pokemon can run through you without even getting to get its speeds up. And that's really scary. At the same time, it's a really bulky Pokemon, so you can really run it as defensive as well, have a defensive option. And I mean, this Pokemon is just equally broken on this team as Arcanine and Drapion, and having the core of Tapofini and Latias. So this is a really good team so far. And then you have Ariados as a Sticker Webber I mentioned all the time. This team under Sticker Webs, even if it's a poor Sticker Web user, under Sticker Webs, this team will wreak house in this league. I don't see a lot of counter teams for this team in a Draft League format. This is just disgusting. And as I said, Ariados most known for sticky webs, doesn't really do anything else with those stats. But yeah, that's pretty sure. If I'm going to wrap this up, I feel that he has a lot of bulk, so I really hope that he drops Mudstale for a more attacking Pokemon. Not that it really needs it, but because maybe need a more offensive ground type. If I'm not completely wrong, Krokorok is still out there, and that's a really good Eviolite user. And it has a really good base attack stats. I mean, something like that could be pretty good for him to bring up. And I don't know, but Crocodile might still be out there? Yeah, it might, but I'm not completely sure. So that's something that it could do, something you could work around maybe. It's a low pick, so Krokorok would be the most option for him, I think, for ground type. But yeah, Salt Lake City Buizels is one of the scariest team when you just break it down, and if it works on paper, let's see if it works in reality. So with that, my name is Djingis, and I will see you next time.